Hi folks, I think we're live now. Tonight is the just get rid of that. Tonight is the flower tutorial. So there we go. I think you'll agree these are really cute, lovely. Really simple to make as well. I've done these in yellow, so these actually remind me. Hi Sandra. These remind me of daffodils, so lovely for spring. And these have got the little ribbons on the end there, but you don't need to put that on because when I made some more in other colours, I found that the ribbon on it was too much. So hi Amanda, hi Lily May. Hopefully Lily May, you'll be able to make some of these and have them in the windowsill. They're really easy to make. They'll probably only take, we'll probably only be on for about 15 minutes tonight or so. And I am going to use the machine, but we're only stitching probably 5 inches or so. So you could do these hand sew if you haven't got a machine. So they're the new spring colours. What we need tonight is, let me have a look. We need the iron. We're going to just press a little tiny bit. Again, we're going to use you know, the skewers, barbecue skewers. I've got a pair of clippers here and I'm just going to clip the end off there just so it's not sharp on the end. You can use twigs if you find some twigs from outside, pencils, you can use all kinds of things. I've got some gardening tape, which is what I've used to go around the stems. Again, you could probably, you know, if you're going to use twigs, don't need to use that. Also a bit of sellotape because I find that easy to use inside than the gardening tape and it sticks better. A couple of pairs of scissors, a little piece of fabric, about, I would say, I mean, it depends how big you want your flowers really, but I would say mine is 15 centimetres by about 12, so that will give the size of this. And then I've got some stuffing as well. Again, as long as you're not giving these to kids to play with, you'll be able to use cotton wool, or this is actually the inside of an old pillow that I was going to throw away, so I thought I'd recycle that. Yeah, I think that is it. So if I just make a bit of space there, because I'm a bit cluttered tonight, but I don't need that. I'll need that, I'll put that there for now. Okay, let me just put you down and then you can see. Hopefully that's okay. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm just going to get my towel because obviously I don't want the table to burn. And I did almost burn it the other day, so I need to be careful. I'm just going to get my fabric and on the wider side, so the top point, just going to turn it down about 1 centimetre. And all we're going to do is press that. Now I've started, when I'm turning things through, when I'm doing a sewing item or a craft, I'm starting, instead of turning them through and struggling with it afterwards, I'm starting to do a lot of pressing first. So when you look at some of the tutorials, you probably wonder why I'm pressing it, but that's pretty much the reason. And all I'm going to do now is open that up and we're going to stitch along that seam there. So from the top to the bottom, back tack the top, back tack the bottom. Now, if you don't know what a back tack is, it just means sewing few stitches forward and then going backwards. So you'll have a back tack function on your machine, and all it does is it stops the threads from coming undone. Okay, so I'm going to move the machine over. I'm not sure it's a great angle, but I'm only sewing a few inches, so it should be fine. I'm just going to put that on. Just a normal straight stitch is all we need. And about just under half an inch actually from the edge. You don't want too thick a seam on this. I'm going to just put that up to like slightly bigger stitch. Okay, so back tack first, and then straight down, and back tack. And that is all we need the machine for. So I'll pop that over there. Even the iron, I'll unplug that for safety. Okay, so that is all we need the machine for. So if you're going to make a few of these, you could do all of that first and then just sit and watch TV and finish off the rest of it in the evening, because it's quite a nice little craft to do. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there, and then I've got my stick and I'm just going to cover this. Now you can do this two ways. I actually found doing it lengthways was easier for me, but you can start at the top and twist it all the way down, but I found that was quite fiddly. So all I do is I just get it to the top and stick it there, and if you can see, it's kind of quite close to the edge. That stops it from getting too lumpy and too many rolls in it. And then just stick it to the end and then just press it down and then cut it off, because I don't know, but the weight of that seems to stop it from moving around. And then all I'm going to do is with my fingers is just the smaller side, I'm just going to roll it in first, and it sticks quite nicely to the stick. Actually, it's not too bad. And then once that's in, just gently and a little bit at a time, just go up and down, roll the rest in. And if it doesn't go, if it's got a few lumps and bumps on it, it makes it more like a natural stem, to be honest. So see the way that is there, and it's gone a bit, see, it does look like a natural, as though a natural stem, flower stem would look. And then I'm just going to cut off any excess from the bottom and the top, and that is that done. Simple, really simple. So get rid of that, we don't need that anymore. Okie doke. I might actually put my glasses on for this. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to put the stem, so where the seam is, that becomes the bottom at the moment, and we put the stem in, and in the middle, if you hold on to it and then just try and create a few pleats here, try and scrunch it up rather than too many big folds. Now it just makes it look like a more natural edge when we're doing this, you know, when we're doing this on the bottom there, because you want the underneath to look quite natural. So it's a little bit fiddly this, but just a few attempts and you'll be fine. So this is why I like this tape, because you can just pull it off. I've got my hand on there and then just tape it and tape it round. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, and make sure that's secure. So you've got, it looks a bit like this. It reminds me of one of those puppets, you know, in a cup. So it's quite funny. Oh, Erica, you're not, I haven't, I was going to say, oh, treat you a cup of tea. I thought I'd spoil your tea. Okay, and then all we do is then push that through. Now be careful, because obviously it's only stuck down with sellotape. It should hold it quite well. Okay. And then when you look at the bottom, just make sure that you're quite happy with the way it's folded, that it's all even, because you can always take it off and do that again. Okay, and then all we do is a bit of stuffing. Again, get your stuffing and break it up. Don't put it all in, because you want it to be nice and light. And a bit at a time, just pop it in. Now you've got there's about an inch or so of the stick there, so you want to get the stuffing around that. So just pop a little bit in, and then just a little bit more on the opposite side, and then you can just move it around with your fingers when it's inside. Now the key to this is you don't want, see the way I'm just pushing it all the way around, and you want it to be just over half full. You don't want it to come right up to the top. And you see the way that is having a natural, I don't know whether you can see this, see the way it's got a natural kind of like it's bending. Once it's finished, I think that adds to the individuality of each flower, so it makes it look a bit more real as well when they're in the vase. Okay, so just make sure it's all pushed down, and then all we do is we need to close this up. So I've already got my needle and my thread ready. Now I don't know how you were taught, or if you've ever been taught how to do a cotton and thread. I was brought up, and at school they taught us to put a knot in the end of this. I never bother doing that, and I'll explain why in a minute. So you need to try and find the centre. So see where the seam is there, And all you're going to do is stitch the centre. Try and get to the top, the top of the fabric as near to the top as you can. Pull it through, and of course there's no knot in there, so just stop about 1.5 inches or so, and then do it again. Just be careful that doesn't get caught up and get all knotty, and again. And when you go over it a couple of times, you've created a secure knot, so that's not going to come undone now. Just cut off that bit of cotton there. So a lot of people, when they're hand sewing, it's the knot that they're doing that gets in the way. So, you know, try it that way and see what you think. So all we're going to do now is take this corner here to meet that corner there and stitch that. So just because you've pressed it, it's sitting really nicely. So again, just the thread, I don't know if you can see that. Just a couple of stitches, 2 or 3 is probably enough. You don't want to do too many. And then just pop your needle down on the table or whatever you're working on, and so don't worry about holding on to that. And then this side, we do this exactly the same. Now the reason not to overstuff it is, when I've done this bit, I'll show you if it was too stuffed how it would look. And again, just a couple of stitches. Try and make it all meet as level as you can without a step on it, one higher than the other. And then just put a little knot in it to secure it. And you can either cut that off there, or if you wanted to, you could put a little pearl or something in the middle there. So what I'm going to do, I've got a red one here, so if I put a red one on, which will probably look quite nice with the yellow. Right, I'm finding it hard to pick it up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my needle and I'll pick it up with that and I'll bring it back and I'll show you. So if I put that down there, hopefully you'll be able to see. If you can't, sometimes it's easier to pick up a little pearl or a bead with your needle rather than trying to struggle with your fingers. And then all I'm going to do is sew that to the top there, and it gives you a little, because it's red, can you see that at the top? It's quite pretty, isn't it? And then just finish it off, just tighten it with a knot and then cut it off, and that is basically your flower done. So all we need to do now is pop on the bow. So when it comes to doing bows, just cut more than what you think you're going to need. If you're going to make a lot of these, you can try one, and if you're happy with the way it is, rather than struggling to try and put a bow in it, then take it off and then measure it next to the next piece and cut another one. No, rather than guess each time, well, that's about right, because you'll find then that you're not going to be struggling. So don't worry about the back seam or anything, just at the moment, just tie it in a knot. And try and get it even on either side, quite tight, because then what you can do is you can just turn it round to wherever you want the front to be, and just turn it there. And then again, now instead of going like you would a normal bow, go from behind and push it from the bottom up, and then both tails will be at the bottom then. Now I've just guessed that, and that's probably about right. I'm using an organza ribbon on this, and I think for this project it works quite nicely because it sits nicely. And if you just cut that in, if you not cut it in half, if you just fold that in half, you'll be able to do your tails quickly like that. And that, my dears, is it. There's your flower. Let me just, hi Irene. Right, okay, let me pop that back up there. And that is that. So really simple. When you look at them in the vase, you think, oh God, there's a lot of work in there, but actually really simple to do. Yeah, the bow is, I find that I'm always guessing. I always eyeball it. That's the way I do it. So for me, sometimes it's easier when you're doing things methodically. Like tonight, I'm doing a lot of 5/4 bundles, so I tie them up in ribbon. So it's better to measure them, so rather than guessing all the time, because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than not having enough for your bow. So yeah, so what do you think of that? Did you like that one? It's quite an easy little craft, brilliant for Mother's Day. So hopefully, I've got another little floral one that I might do. Might take a little bit longer, a tiny bit more sewing, and you need a glue gun with that one as well. So, but these are so easy, and the fabrics, depending on the fabrics that you use. Where's that pink one? There it is. I love this fabric. It's gorgeous. It's really vibrant. I mean, I've got tons and tons of gorgeous spring fabrics in now. They do look fab, don't they, Sandra? And I spend a fortune on flowers. I have flowers every week, and I put the little display that I put on the photograph tonight. That's my display on my table, and normally I would buy daffodils or yellow roses for spring, and I think these are they're going to be okay just to leave there. So so yeah, so next week I might jump on at one point, and I'm going to do scrunchies I think this week, and then I've got some really lovely Easter crafts, really easy. So great. There you go, they're the Easter crafts behind me, Karen. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week. And again, looks really difficult to do. Don't need a lot of fabric, bit of stuffing. Yeah, over the I do quite a bit with the stuffing, so it might be best to invest in see if you can get a big bag of stuffing. Or like I do, is I always look at the inserts in the cushions, and rather than just put them in landfill, I always go through it and think if it can be used. And generally, if it's in a cushion, it's got the safety flag on it anyway, so you do need to if it's for yourself, it's okay to use that. If you're going to do it to make and sell on, then you need the proper stuff, so just beware with that. Okay, so yeah, simple, just bag of them and just make away. So send me some photos. Hi Helena. Send me some photos and anything that you make would be lovely. I love to see the things you make. So yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll jump on and we'll do scrunchies, because I know a lot of the kids have asked me about that. Again, there's lots of ways of doing scrunchies, but I'll try and, because they're quite fiddly, I'll try and do one that I think that is going to be easy for the kids to do. And what else? Yeah, then we'll start the rabbit crafts and the Easter crafts. So lots of fabric coming last week. I've got a couple more orders coming this week. So I'm trying, when we open, when we get the go ahead to open again, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to have quite a lot of choice for people. Okay, so yeah, that's great. See you soon. Bye.